we inspect this forest area today? It's deep and dangerous.
Yes, the journey is long and there is wet animal here. Be careful, this forest is important for our water.
That's why we are here. Protecting the forest is our responsibility.
The forest allowance helps us to recover more extra risk and do our job well. Thank you for protecting our forest.
With proper support and allowance, we can continue safeguarding nature.
What is forest allowance? Forest allowance is a form of Schedule 3 allowance available to a person who incurred qualifying forest expenditure in the business of extracting timber forest. Qualifying forest expenditure includes capital expenditure on roads or building used for extracting timber from the forest, or building for the welfare or employees, or as a living accommodation for persons employed in timber extraction. Once the forest allowance is claimed, the same qualifying expenditure is not allowed for others' capital allowance under Schedule 3. Public Ruling 11/2014 was issued on 31st of December 2014 governing forest allowance.
Now, we will discuss about tax concept, statutory basis and tax nature. From a Malaysian tax perspective, forest allowance is a form of capital allowance governed under Schedule 3 of the Income Tax Act 1967 and further clarified by LHDN Public Ruling Number 11/2014. It is a sector-specific tax incentive applicable only to business involved in timber extraction within Malaysia. Capital vs revenue expenditure. For tax classification, forest allowance applies strictly to qualifying capital expenditure, not revenue expenditure. This follows a fundamental tax principle where capital costs are not deductible under Section 33, but instead recovered over time through capital allowance mechanism provided by tax law. Structure of forest allowance based on current rules. Unlike normal plant and machinery allowance, forest allowance does not provide any initial allowance. Only annual allowance is granted based on the type of qualifying forest expenditure, which is 10% on roads or building used directly for timber extraction, while 20% on building used as employee welfare or living accommodation. This structure reflects the matching principle, ensuring tax deduction correspond with the period in which income from timber extraction is generated. For permanent cessation, basis period and forest charge, when a business permanently ceases timber extraction, any remaining unclaimed forest allowance is withdrawn as a forest charge. Under tax rule, this charge arises in the basis period of cessation, regardless of when the forest is disposed of. The forest charge operates similarly to a balancing charge, preventing taxpayer from retaining allowance once the income-producing activity has stopped. Election to spread legislated tax planning. Schedule 3 allows taxpayer to make an election under paragraph 32 to spread the forest charge over previous year of assessment. This provision demonstrates legislated tax planning where the law permits taxpayer to manage tax exposure fairly without abusing the system. Policy and tax rationale. The forest allowance regime reflects Malaysia's tax policy objective of supporting capital-intensive industry while maintaining tax neutrality through withdrawal mechanisms such as forest charge. This ensures allowance function as temporary relief, not permanent tax saving.
Now, let's take a look on the current and real example for forest allowance. Forest allowance are the tax incentive under Malaysian Income Tax 1967. It helps timber companies recover infrastructure costs like roads, bridge, housing, and a storage building. It's government by the LHDN Public Ruling Number 11 on 2014, which sets the rule for qualifying forest expenditure. Now, let's take a look on the example here. Imagine you are a timber company in Terengganu. Before you can even harvest a timber, you need a road, housing, and a storage facility deep in the forest. These three costs are huge, so that's where a forest allowance comes in. Now, let's take a look on this example from 2025. The total annual deduction is 1,200 until it fully written off. But what is gonna happen? If the operation stops in 2028, the remaining balance is fully deductible for that year. What is gonna happen?
So now, what happened if operation stop in 2028? The remaining balance is fully deductible that year, but if a forest right asset, a forest charge applied to equal to allowance claim, but the company can spread this charge backward across a prior year. Permanently cessation of timber extraction in Terengganu Timber Sdn Bhd permanently stop timber operation in 2028, it can claim a fully remaining balance of unclaimed forest allowance in that year. Any leftover qualifying forest expenditure that hasn't been deducted yet become fully deducted in 2028. For budgeted 2025, there's no change to forest allowance rates or rules. Stricter digital compliance introduced e-invoicing, and company must keep clear record of forest-related expense to qualifying forest expenditure. For LHDN practice, only direct forest infrastructure qualifies, such as road, bridge, and road housing. So, for non-qualifying item like admin office outside forest areas may be disallowed. So, accurate documentation is essential to avoid this tax issue. So, based on LHDN Public Ruling Number 11/2040, issued by Director General of Inland Revenue, proposed is to explain how forest allowance are applied in practice and binding on LHDN office and taxpayer. The forest allowance provide annual tax deduction based on the type of asset, such as road and building, qualifying for a 10% deduction each year, while leaving accommodation for worker qualifying for a higher rate of 20% annually.
This topic is important for my future career as an accountant because understanding the tax treatment of allowance helped me ensure accurate income reporting and reduce the risk of tax non-compliance. Based on this topic, I realized that allowances such as forest allowance are often misunderstood or overlooked in practice, which can lead to errors in tax computation. By learning how forest allowance is taxed, I am better prepared to provide clear and accurate advice to employers and employees, especially those working in remote or high-risk area. This knowledge strengthens my professional judgment by training me to identify taxable components correctly and apply tax rules responsibly. In the future, it will help me uphold ethical standards while ensuring compliance with Malaysian tax regulations.
Forest allowance is a tax incentive provided under the Malaysia Income Tax Act to encourage forestry activities by allowing companies to claim qualifying forest expenditure as a deduction over a specific period. In real practice, this allowance is important because forestry companies usually incur high initial costs before generating income, and forest allowance helps reduce their taxable income and improve cash flow. This topic is important for my future career as a professional because understanding incentives like forest allowance enables me to advise clients. Understanding this issue also improves my professional judgment, especially when handling clients involved in natural resource and sustainability-related industries.
My personal and professional reflection is by understanding this issue, it improves my professional judgment because it can sharpen my ability to assess tax implications in real-world business scenario, especially in industry like forestry, where infrastructure investment are significant. It trains me to think critically about compliance, financial planning, and how tax policies influence strategic decisions, all of which are essential for making sound, ethical, and informed. It will recommendation in my future career.
Forest allowance help me understand how tax incentive can be used to protect the environment while supporting business activities. Personally,
It increased my awareness of the importance of forests and the need for sustainable forest management. Professionally, it is important knowledge for accounting and taxation students because it helps companies reduce tax through the allowable forest-related expense while following the tax law correctly. Overall, learning about forest allowance prepared me to handle taxation matters responsibly in the future and appreciate the balance between economic development and environmental conservation.
Understanding forest allowance helped me improve my knowledge by how tax incentives support industry such as forestry. It helps me understand tax rule better and apply correctly in real situation, especially for business with long-term costs. This topic also improved my professional judgment by teaching me to balance tax benefits with legal compliance. In my future career as an accountant, this knowledge will help me give accurate, ethical and responsible advice to clients.
Before completing this assignment, I had little knowledge about forest allowance and its purpose. At first, I found it difficult to understand how forest allowance works and how it is related to forest conservation. The information was new to me, and I struggled to connect the policies with real-life situation. However, after doing some research, I began to understand that forest allowance is meant to encourage responsible use and protection of forest resources. This assignment helped me to realize the importance of forests in maintaining environmental balance. I learned that forest allowance can support sustainable development while protecting nature. It showed me how government policies can influence how forests are managed and conserved for the future. Personally, this lesson increased my awareness of environmental responsibility. I became more aware of how my action can affect the forest environment and why forest conservation is important. Overall, this experience motivated me to improve my knowledge about environmental issues and to develop a more responsible attitude towards protecting forests.
Forest allowance is an important tax incentive under Schedule 3 that support Malaysia's forestry sectors that help reduce the high capital burden faced by forestry companies. Through this, we have explained the concept, qualifying expenditure, and practical application of forest allowance. Understanding this allowance prepares us as future professionals to apply tax law responsibly and effectively.